fucking intro. Let's see. All right. Welcome to the Shop Class Podcast. We got a whole bunch of people here. We got Mr. G, that's me. We got Bloomquist. We got Al's here. Barbercheck OG, co-host from back in the day. He's back. Duke, regular. And we got Nick, and we got two guests. We have Brody. He's an up-and-coming teacher. There he is. Still in the Shop Class College, which we want to hear about, right? Studying to become a teacher, and we want to find out how he heard about us. Then we got Adrian. Adrian is a Tesla technician on his way to engineering, probably going to Silicon Valley or Texas at some point, or maybe Germany, who knows. He was a former student, and he went to shot out of a cannon, left my class like a bat out of hell, and went to NJIT for engineering, and now is working at Tesla, working his way up the ladder towards Elon, and maybe past Elon. Maybe he's going to the moon. I don't know. So I think we'll start out with Brody because who's got less time. Let's be honest here. Is everybody good on time here?
I got all the time in the world.
Okay, so we'll get started with Brody, and then we'll get into Adrian and Tesla and stuff like that. So Brody, okay, how did you find us? Like, you said the story before we started recording, but for people that are watching this, like, how did you find the Shop Class Podcast?
Yeah, so I found the Shop Class Podcast by I started me and my buddy recently started a company, and we wanted to start posting things on Instagram, start getting content out there to kind of grow the brand. And while we were doing that, I was looking through pages, some of the hashtags on Instagram, and I stumbled across this account, and that account was led by Shar. And for those who don't know Shar's got a pretty popular account on Instagram. And she posts, she's a shop teacher in Georgia. She posts some great things. And so, me being curious, I wanted to go ahead and ask her questions because, you always, when you're the little fish, you always ask the big fish how they got successful and stuff like that. So I reached out to her, luckily, because she's Shar. She's amazing. She's the best. Absolute GOAT. She responded, and we set up a time to have a conversation. So we had about an hour and a half long conversation, just swapping notes, ideas. I told her what I'm about. She told me what she does. And then she toward the end of the conversation, brought up this podcast. And that's when I was just like, she was like, hey, you want me to try to get you on? And I was just like, yeah, absolutely. That sounds dope. So, yeah. And then obviously now I'm here, and that's the story of how I got into this podcast.
That's awesome. So, and then this is your company right here?
Yeah, Musco USA.
Yeah, tell us more about this real quick.
Yeah, so our company it started when, so a couple years ago, I was building a wooden green machine. You guys are familiar with the Huffy green machine? That tricycle, the big wheel. Well, for one of my final projects, I decided I was going to build one of those out of nothing but wood and glue. No fasteners, there's no metal, anything.
Yeah, I'm not logged in.
I'll show it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll show it.
All right, we got to see this big wheel made out of wood. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm building this big wheel, and I'm finishing up my shop, and I just leave my garage door open. I just let people come in, say what's up, come hang out. There it is, right there. And I just let people come in, say what's up. And my buddy came in, and he was just like, oh man, wouldn't it be awesome if we could do this for a living? And I was like, why not? Like, what? I was like, why don't we just try it? So then henceforth, Musco was born. So we spent last year planning, but it was a very busy year, and obviously, pandemic and everything like that. So things got a little behind schedule. With the launching of 2021, we officially launched the Instagram page. We're working on developing our LLC. We're working on, we have a business plan. We have different phases that we're implementing over the next couple months. So we're here on Instagram. I'm trying to get my content up on Instagram. We also have a TikTok account that we're messing around with.
Where are you guys located? It's you said Connecticut?
Yeah, we're located in Somers, Connecticut. So if you're looking at a map of Connecticut, it's there. You'll see that notch in the top, sort of top central Connecticut. We're a little east of that. We're east of that notch.
So if I want wooden big wheels, you'll make me one?
Absolutely. If you want a wooden big wheel, we'll make you one. That's just what we do.
Cool.
It's, we like challenges like that. And I like projects like that people just haven't really done before just because they're funny. And the fact is that thing also worked. So I was driving that around my engineering building. I had all these guys coming out and all these engineering students who were in lecture and stuff like that. I'm just pedaling along on my big wheel. Thing wasn't very fast, but I could go around the entire building. Got a lot of eyes. People were coming out. They're like, well, you could add rubber to the tires to make them a little bit more, give some more traction. I'm like, you don't get it. This thing is wood and glue, nothing else. So super slick on the linoleum tile, but wicked fun project.
Nice, that's awesome.
Dude, it's a drift car if it's slippery, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's totally a drift car. And at my school, we have this huge hill, and a lot of guys wanted me to take it and bomb down that hill. But there's no brakes. So, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it would be awesome.
Bottom of your shoes.
Bomb that hill or.
No, bottom of your shoes. That's your brake. Bottom of your shoes.
Yeah, exactly. So,
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So now, did you have shop class growing up?
Yes. So my shop class started in 6th grade. But I felt my grandfather had a shop and still has a shop, and he makes things. So what ended up happening was when I got into 6th grade, I kind of felt like I was the special guy because I was like, yeah, I know all these tools. I felt like the big shot in the class because I was like, yeah, I know what a scroll saw is, no big deal. And didn't really help with the ladies or anything like that in middle school. But so I started off there, started off with making, just balsa wood gliders and stuff like that. Dude? What's up?
I said the scroll saw?
Yeah. So we started making those little projects, had that 6th through 8th grade. Then once I got into high school, I kind of took a step back from shop. I was taking a couple of shop classes here and there. But then my senior year, I just loaded my schedule up with shop classes. Absolutely, refound my passion for that. And then since then, the passion stopped.
Did you have a cool shop teacher?
Oh yeah. Oh, we have
shop teacher. Is there someone you could shout out?
Yeah. So now
you're on the spot. Sorry.
No, you're good. The boy Slater, we'll say his name's Slater. He's kind of a legend, not only in our town, but in our state. A lot of people know him. Phenomenal teacher. He's the kind of teacher where he lets students learn by failing. And not in terms of failing in grades, but just he walked over, we were building this car my senior year, an all electric car. And he walks over to the kid who was doing the TIG welding. We were doing, it was made of chromoly steel, and walks over and he's like, oh, these welds look good. And then he just grabs it and then just starts shaking it and it just rips right off. He's like, oh, but they didn't penetrate. So we spent an entire class getting this whole front frame together and he just rips it apart. And we were all just like, what? That's like, he can't do that. He's just like, if it wasn't going to hold up to me doing that, it's not going to hold up on a racetrack. Yeah. So
shit welding, it's like when you poop it right on top, no penetration.
Yeah. So I mean,
so I don't want to interrupt you, but you got to tell me more about this electric car because you got to understand. That's something I did with my students. We did electric car conversion, and Adrian has done electric cars and solar cars. Like you're talking electric car people in the house.
Wow. Okay. So
and Brody, you just missed 3 straight episodes of this, all about electric cars.
Dude, we toured a whole facility. You're in the right spot, bro.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So our car is we named it Gold Rush. And
is it part of a competition?
Yeah, so it's a part of the Electrothon. The Electrothon. It's called the Electrothon.
Okay.
The Electrothon is a national competition. We only entered into the Connecticut sector of it. And our school, we're typically one of the top performing schools. So when we show up, we build. What's special about our school, this high school I came from, was every single year we're bringing a new car to the competition. A lot of schools aren't doing that. A lot of schools are building a car over 2 or 3 years and entering it, or they'll have like one car that they had and they'll kind of just modify it over 5 to 10 years. Not us. We say, look, every year we got to show up, we got to build a dope car, and we're gonna at least place like top 3. So in
This is
my
cool.
senior year, we placed, I think, 3rd place, which was an absolute miracle for the people that in that class of guys we were working with. Unfortunately, it was not the best roster in terms of guys. We didn't have the chemistry, and unfortunately, we never really built that chemistry over the years. So it really came down to almost like the teamwork, because the skill sets were completely there in that class.
How is this different? Do you know the Shell Eco Marathon?
Yes, I do.
Is this how is this different?
So I'm not sure about like the specifics of how it's different. I know that this one is typically all high school kids that are doing this one in Connecticut. Occasionally there have been a couple colleges that enter it, but this one's for the most part all high school level kids.
Sorry, yeah. So, okay, that's interesting. Oh, this is just for high school.
I don't know if the rules state that it's just for high school, but virtually everyone there is high school. Like I've heard of a couple colleges coming down in the past, but for the most part, this is just high school students.
Cool. Hold on. Sorry, Dan. I'll call you later. I got a phone call during. I'm going sort of tomorrow, so I had to take it. But this is very cool. The thing about the it should be just high school, because it's a big different category when you're in college.
Yeah.
So semi-pro, in a way. I'm just scrolling through it. You guys, do you not see the handbook I'm scrolling through? Oh, I didn't realize that it wasn't showing that. So there's like a whole handbook here. Can you guys see it now?
Yep.
It's
There we go. Dude, this is cool. Is that what your car looks like? Like a friggin' torpedo?
Kinda. So our car, I wish I had a picture of it. So our car was ours was a tri-wheel. So it was 2 wheels in the front. That's where all your steering was. And then we just had 1 drive wheel on the back. What was unique about our car was we had suspension on the back. Unfortunately, the suspension probably didn't do too much, because the suspension was a little too beefy for the vehicle. But we were happy that we even got a chance to even make it work. And and then we just went with Gold Rush because we had to come up with a name, and ultimately it just came down to our shocks were gold. So we just made the whole vehicle black and gold and called it Gold Rush. But
that's awesome, man. This is great. It's funny because you have something in common with Adrian here. He did this at a college level. What was the name, Adrian? What was the name of the challenge you guys were in?
It was the American Solar Car Challenge, and that was purely solar panels on top with an electric motor and a set of batteries that were limited to like a certain kilowatt size.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was, and that was like every year they usually do like endurance on a closed track, and then every 2 or 3 years or so they'll do an endurance on the public road over like 2,000 kilometers or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so Brody, I didn't mean to derail you. We really want to talk about your shop class pursuit, but that was an interesting thing that you did, because that's the future right there. There's a lot of people working on electric cars and solar cars and whatnot. And of course, what your teacher did, where he shook the weld, I mean, that's where
right.
You got to know, I crank up the heat. You just want to weld with more heat for less time. You want to penetrate for sure, but you can't leave it there. You go through,
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get back on the track. So you did that in high school now, and your grandfather had a shop, and then you went into start making stuff for fun with your buddy, and then you started this Brody and Chris, the Moose.
Yeah, Mooseco. Yeah, the name kind of came from we were trying to come up with something simple and sleek, something that we didn't want to get tied down to anything, because the mission of our company, right, is community and craftsmanship. Those are two things that are near and dear to our hearts. Let's talk about the community aspect for a second. I love not just my community, but just any community that I get a part of. I want to make sure that it's succeeding and it's doing well. So a big push of Mooseco is I want to use my platform on Mooseco to elevate local creators, friends of mine, people who want to pursue their passions. I want to be able to get eyes onto those so they can jumpstart their careers in whatever they're going for, whether it's music, making things, just anything they're passionate about, anything that gives them that fire. I want to try to give them that opportunity. I care a lot about my friends. I care a lot about the people that are around me.
That's the way to go. A lot of my students, they always say, how do I get rich? The kids always say that. So I just say, you just got to figure out how to help more people more often. That's it. Yeah. Just figure out how to help people and you will be rich. I promise.
Yeah. And even if you're not making all the money in the world, it's not going to matter because, you're going to be happy. And that's how I feel. That's where like 99% of my excitement comes from this company is I don't have a lot of followers right now, but I'm convinced that this thing's going to take off. And when it does, I'm taking everyone that's around me. They're all coming up with me. My town, I'm going to make sure that they're taken care of in any way possible. My friends, making sure that they're taken care of. My buddy Chris, who's starting this with me, making sure he's taken care of. I'm not in this thing for the money, and I never will be. That's just the God's honest truth. I hope that the company does well for the sake of the employees of the company and the people who work for it, and just the people who are associated with it.
I think people, the big wheel thing that puts a smile on people. Big wheel, big smiles, right? So
yeah.
So how did you get into wanting to be a shop teacher, and what's going on with that? What's your current situation?
Great question. So what happened was at the end of senior year, so through high school, I kind of just settled on, I was just going to go into IT. It wasn't even until my senior year where I knew what IT meant. I was just like, oh, IT, computers, I guess, whatever. I didn't really put anything into it. People were like, oh, you're good with computers. And I was into computers for a little bit. I got really obsessed with online gaming and stuff like that in high school. So I built my own PC, which at the time, not too many people were doing. So, people thought, they're like, oh, you're good at computers, you should do IT. And then I saw, what IT was, or at least what I was thinking of going into IT. And I was like, I can't do that. I went to this company called Voya Financial. I saw the exact job that I would be doing, IT manager. The guy was just like, here's my cubicle. I oversee these 80 cubicles. And at that moment, I was just like, and I'm done. I'm not going in IT.
Corporate life is not for you.
No. So that made me start rethinking. That happened March.
Short sheet. So check shop teacher. That's qualifications. If you're allergic to office spaces, check.
Yeah. I never wanted to get out of a place so quickly in my entire life. I just felt sad. Like I walked in there and I was just like, oh, this is horrible. I was like, there's no way I could do this. So now it's March of my senior year. I have no plan.
Where do you go to college?
So I go to Central Connecticut State University. So we are in New Britain, Connecticut. For anyone who's familiar with New Britain, Connecticut, sort of central Connecticut in that area.
Are you close to Bridgeport?
We're not terribly close to Bridgeport. We're probably about an hour.
That's the craziest thing. The Bridgeport milling machine, that is literally where it's from.
Yeah.
But like not anymore,
Yeah. Those things are legit. Those things are the best. You can't complain if you have a Bridgeport. I learned how to use a Bridgeport in high school, and so many things you can do with it.
That was the iPhone of milling machines back in the day. Okay, guys, so you're at the college. Is it a college that's specifically for becoming a shop teacher?
No. So it's just a state university, but we have a technology education program where you can get certified to teach technology and engineering education K through 12. So when I'm done, I'll be certified to teach kindergartners through seniors in high school. And what's unique about it is I didn't really have a choice. I could only really go to Central because Central is not only are they the only tech ed school in Connecticut, but to my knowledge, we are the only one in New England. There are a couple in New York.
In New Jersey, there's one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's TCNJ. It's crazy. Yeah. There's not enough. You know, we have
there's Millersville in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Millertown. Yeah. Yeah, we have a great relationship with Millersville because of this event that we go to every year called TICA East. Well, the last year we went, it's a big conference, tech ed conference. All the tech ed schools on the East Coast come. Usually about 7 come. Central, we're the kind of kids that come. We have like this blue collar attitude when we go there. We don't do a lot of the paperwork or anything like that, but we show up for the competitions and we usually sweep. But last time Millersville was there, and Central has this chant where if to support Central, we have one person go CC and everyone goes SU. So every time, we're not really fans of NC State or TCNJ. So whenever they would start doing their chants, one of us would just get up and yell at the top of our lungs, CC, and then all of us at Central go SU and just shut them down. It's all in lighthearted fun, but then then we got knocked out of this competition, and behind us was Millersville. So there was no one competing with NC State and TCNJ. They were just doing their loud chants. So all of a sudden, because we were out of the competition, Millersville's behind us. We start talking with them. We're like, we're just going to cheer for you guys. So one of us just stands up and goes, what time is it? And everyone just goes, it's Miller time. And we just started doing that for the entire competition. We ended up doing a jersey swap with them. So we had these like tech ed polos that we brought to the competition. I remember right after one of the competitions, I took my
I missed all this. I was not part of that. I had to go alternate route, man. You sound like you're having fun out there with becoming a shop teacher.
No, bro, it's an absolute right now. Becoming a shop teacher at Central is an absolute blast. We have a great time every year. TICA is kind of a fundamental part of the tech ed culture, not only just on the East Coast, but at Central specifically, because that's that point in the year where it's in early November. So you have all the new kids coming in to the tech ed program. And by new kids, like we only get like 5 or so new kids a year if we're lucky. Our program is teeny tiny.
Yeah. All the programs are small. Nobody thinks to be a shop teacher, but it's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, every shop teacher I've talked to is happy. They're always happy. Like, yeah, they have minor hiccups and stuff like that, but general quality of life, they're always having a good time.
Yeah, like I can't complain. There's a lot of nonsense that comes with teaching, but like in general, I've had a pretty interesting journey, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been great, and I'm sure
that's just like this quarantine, like being a tech ed teacher over all these years. Like we know how to take the punches.
Right.
Like this quarantine, they're like, you got to teach online. We're like, we're ready for it.
Right.
It's going to suck, but
whatever.
Go with the flow.
Pivot, baby, pivot.
Yeah. So
cool.
we.
So you're at the school. Just so everybody understands. So you're at the school. It's not. You weren't specifically going to do tech ed, and you were going to do IT, and now you're switching into tech ed. Is that what's going on?
So in high school, I was going to go into IT. Then I decided to switch out of it. Right before I left high school, I applied for Central, like literally a week before the deadline, then went into tech ed. So I've been studying tech ed at Central for the last like 3 years now.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. So you're going to come out with a tech ed degree.
Yes.
Yeah. Very interesting. You're going to have your pick because when we had an opening in a town called West New York, which is right by Weehawken, Hoboken, Union City area.
Yep.
We had a wood shop opening, and it's a beautiful wood shop. And Adrian, you were there when Mr. Canito was there, right?
Yeah. I saw towards the end, right
before he left.
before he left. Yeah,
Okay,
with
so
the
there
other
was
places. It's a really nice place.
yeah, it's not. And there was a guy. He was there for 41 years, and then after that, we got a guy that was like not so great. He came from another school. Then we got this other guy that came from industry. He's an alternate route. He's great. Kevin Witt. He is amazing. But it was hard to find him. The only way I found him was because on the side I teach welding, intro to welding, and literally on the side. And he took one of my classes, and he's a carpenter. So I called him up after class. I said, "Hey man, you want to teach like wood shop?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, wait, no, but like you gotta understand, like, it's like early in the morning, it's a kid schedule, there's politics involved, the kids are pain in the butt, but they're also great. You seriously want to do this? He goes, yeah. And I was like, what? Really? I was like, you gotta go alternate route, you might have to go to school at night, you gotta start right away. He's like, let's do it. I was like, wow. So it's just, I don't know, like what? It was amazing. Big life change. So, so you're going to have your pick because there's just not enough shop teachers.
We have two teachers retiring soon in the Poconos, and that there's just not enough teachers. Like, we're not going to fill the position. We have like 14 in our district teachers, but like you said, there's not enough schools putting out the teachers, and it's probably going to become a growing field more than before because people aren't working with their hands anymore. They're not even shoveling snow.
Oh, no, we have. I'm glad you kind of brought that up. The fact that it's an opening because a lot of kids my age, a lot of kids are being shuffled into a couple things. One, they're being shuffled into the college route. And it's not working for a lot of kids. A lot of kids are just going in, racking up, a ton of money in student debt, and then they're just leaving like, what do I do with my life now? So if you can, if you can just train those kids to say, like, start talking to them in high school and say, look, the trades are an area to go into, or if you like this stuff and you like working with people and you like teaching, go into tech ed. Right now in Connecticut, tech ed it's such a unique job because you virtually have a 100% guarantee of getting a job. There are almost no fields that have that. We have,
okay, click, commercial done. Like that was the perfect, like that could not have been said better. People should really look at the shop class as like a potential career. And you go into it and you do it for like, I think, do it for like 5 years, 10 years, fine. Get yourself on your feet, go do something else, no problem. But it's just like, it's amazingly fun. You get to like be an old teenager, which is kind of fun. And you get to work on stuff. You could build wood 3-wheeled big wheel vehicles. That could be the project every single year if you wanted to. Ever,
Yeah. I think the other thing that people don't understand, the teacher I was talking about earlier, he put this in perspective for me. He goes, I don't have a wood shop at home. And I remember thinking to him, I was like, what? He's like, you're a shop teacher. I was like, you don't have a wood shop at home? He's like, I don't need a wood shop because I have a 60-cent key that gives me access to a $30,000 planer. And I was just like, and it kind of just all clicked at once. I was just like, oh yeah, if you're in a school that cares about tech ed and is willing to put money in your program, you can have like a $300,000 maker shop just at the palm of your hands. And it's completely under your control, under your jurisdiction. And the school, here's the kicker, the school and everyone wants you to make cool stuff. Because if you make cool stuff, you make the school look better, you get better as a teacher. So now your students get better and the whole program just gets enlightened and people are like, wow, this school has a great program. And it's all just you just having a fun time in your shop, messing around, making cool shit.
And
hey, Brody. yeah. Hey, Brody, have you
put it on social media for everyone else to see?
We're gonna have to snip. We're gonna have to like edit that and make a little video. Hey, have you came across Henry Ford too. Chris Davis. Chris Davis. What he's doing.
No, I haven't.
Dude, okay, I'll put his stuff in here. He's been on here before with us. His kids just made a paddleboard for Richard Branson.
Yeah.
That, the billionaire. He's got like 3 more boards lined up for like other celebrities. He's in Detroit area.
Oh, we did.
And that's his whole thing. He just
he
loves making cool stuff.
We had him on as a guest, right?
Oh yeah, well he's been on here. He kind of has been jumped on here with us ever since when we started COVID stuff.
Yeah.
So he's the one that makes those paddle boards and the snowboards, and he took the kids to Vermont to Burton's headquarters. Wow, they're out in California for something with, was it GoPro and Vans?
Wow,
I forget they're out there. They're out in California for something. He got to take seniors out to California. So they're making like paddle boards and surfboards and snowboards and skateboards and the kids. He just posted a picture of the kids riding the other day, one of his boards. So
that's so
I'm going to take a phone call real quick. You guys keep going though.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, you make it what you want it to be. Now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If someone were to say, hey, what would be the perfect school shop for you? Not, I'm saying like let's say you had a choice of like 3 schools. One school is like a wood shop. One school is like a metal and auto. One's like a CAD lab. Like, what it would be you personally? What would you be like? You know what? I could do 10 years easy there. Like I know what do you want?
3D printers in there, robotics too.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, or 3D printers. Like you just tell us. I don't even know. Like, what's your deal? Like, what do you want to do?
I mean, if I was going off those options, I would say wood shop. But the kicker for me is, I like shops with. I just like shops with all of those. I think you need to have. I think to give students a really well-rounded perspective on the world of making and what working with your hands could potentially mean, you kind of got to have a little bit of everything. You got to have a 3D printer to show them how additive manufacturing works. You got to have a laser engraver to show them how you can make a living making products quickly, manufacturing quickly. You got to have a CNC machine, CNC router. So again, you can show students how you can make super accurate things really quickly. The wood shop just for your basic hand tools and basic machinery, just so you have this understanding of just how to generally assemble things, make things, and just prototype, make your ideas, turn them into a reality. The metal shop's important because if you're not working with wood or plastic, you're working with metal. That's just how it is. So you got to know those skills too. And then also, so much of the world right now is CAD. I mean, you can't skip out on CAD. You need to understand how to do computer aided design in the 3-dimensional realm. So that way, not only can you, if you're working, let's say you're working for a company, you can send prototypes, you can draft prototypes. The software is so complicated now, or so complex now, that you don't even necessarily need to prototype it. The software almost does all that for you in terms of strength tests, materials. The software is just so good that you could literally just have a student prototype an entire project, entire car, entire vehicle, whatever it is, on software and send that to a company to be manufactured. So I think you got to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
what they want.
Yeah, we got a metal shop area, an automotive. We have a wood shop area. We have a robotics area, and we have a CAD area. The only thing we don't have is we have some 3D printers. We got like a whole bunch of them, but we don't have like CNC into metal, or we don't have a CNC router into wood. We have a small one, but that's what we're kind of missing, But I think a lot of schools are getting hip to all this stuff and making the investment. So you would have your pick. Is there a school you got picked out already or no?
Yeah, I do. I got a soft spot for my hometown.
That's cool.
And if everything works out, I'm just gonna say that, fingers crossed. If everything works out, The position will be mine when I get there. But obviously, if things happen and things change, then it's just what it is. Then we just move on to something else. And but I would love to get back in my school district, not only because I want to continue to grow the company so I can support local people here, but I'm also investing in the school. I'm the girls soccer coach there. I'm going to be one of the track coaches there. I truly love working with the people in this town, with the kids in this town. I have a really good working relationship with a lot of the teachers in the building. And I just think it would be a ton of fun to work there. And if I'm energetic and I'm psyched, then the students are going to feed off that, and it's just a class.
That's so cool, man. This sounds really good. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Duke, were you gonna say something? Like
Now, just talking about fusion, like you were talking about these 3D printing aspects of it. I saw a thing on Fusion where it will draw the screw threads for you, then come up on a link where you can buy those exact screws.
That's crazy. I haven't heard of that. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Fusion's linked to MasterCard. As far as all the drawings and whatnot.
I'm sorry?
What did you say, Nick? It goes straight to McMaster?
Yeah, McMaster and Fusion, they have a library of drawings back and forth.
That's awesome. Cool. I've been using Onshape lately, but McMaster is widely known. They provide the CAD for all that stuff, That's cool, man. All right, so Brody, sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but yeah. So basically, very cool. You are rocking and rolling. This is great. Anything else you want to add before might shift over? We're gonna talk to Adrian a little bit. You could hang out, obviously.
Yeah, there's one thing I'd like to bring up to you guys. Not only from one, just thank you guys for the opportunity. This is awesome. And just not only just trying to get out and meet new shop teachers, but you guys are a fun bunch. So I really appreciate it. It's awesome. Second thing is have you guys heard of something called Go Baby Go?
No.
Okay. So this might be something that you guys all might be interested in moving forward. Go Baby Go is an initiative where, and this is big at our school. My school is one of the top schools in the country for this. It started at the University of Delaware, and then Central kind of took the torch, if you will, and we've just ran with it. So what we do is we retrofit Power Wheels cars, those little kid electric cars. We retrofit them for kids with severe physical disabilities. So, for example, we will rewire the cars. So the accelerator is now attached to a button on the steering wheel. This button is specifically designed by a company for kids who have a difficult time with fine motor skills and don't have a lot of strength in their muscles. So literally you can put a feather on this button and it'll go. We wire those buttons in. We build roll cages for the car. We build support systems for the car. We build add-ons for the car so that if the kids have breathing devices or anything that needs to be with them, it fits onto the car. People have even gone as crazy as there was one student who needed to work on standing up. So what they did was they put a button on one of the electric quads. There it is, Go Baby. One of the electric quads where the kid would have to sit on the button. So he had to work on standing up and sitting down. So if he sat on the button, the quad would go. If he stood up, it would stop. And
you need a noise in there if you're going to talk about that. Sit down.
Yeah. So at Central, we've done a couple builds. We actually went out to the Fisher-Price facilities in New York. They donated 500 cars to us. We've flown out to the parent company Mattel out in California. We did a build there. We do builds at the ITEA conference every year. Last year obviously got canceled. The year before that we were in Kansas City doing a build. It's a great program for a number of reasons. one, problem solving and engineering design process. You're giving students a chance, because also too, I should mention with these builds, you do them with your students. So as the teacher, you'll lead the build, but you'll take on a group of students, and you can work it in the curriculum. So if you do it over the course of, let's say, a semester, you get information about the kid with disabilities, you get your parameters, and you get your constraints, and you hand that sheet to the class, and you say, look, we need to retrofit a car for this child. That is our problem. Now, here are our constraints. The student has a weak core, so they need supports. How high do the supports need to be? Well, they need to be, the kid's chest is about 8 inches, so we need the supports to be about 6 inches tall. We now need, this kid only can use their right arm, so we can't put the button on the steering wheel. We have to put the button near their right arm so they can hit it. This student has very weak legs. So we need to make sure that they are strapped in and they're secure in the vehicle. They have a breathing machine. We need to make sure that there's some way to attach a breathing machine so it can be with them at all times. We need to make sure there's a way,
like a headrest here.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have, and then you got to build a roll cage so it's safe. I've never seen one of these cars roll. Yeah. So it's, you know, it is great when you work with a group of students because they get to actually see in real time how their designs affect an individual, as opposed to just you giving them parameters. They actually get to see how it impacts the kid. And they'll get to see, like, you'll put the kid in the vehicle and you'll see something doesn't work. So you have to very quickly make an adjustment. So you'll quickly make an adjustment, fix it. You have to think on the fly, quick thinking. And then once the kid's in it, the best part is everyone's smiling, everyone's crying. The kids get to, the students, the high school students, middle school students, they get to see how their design has impacted someone in their community. The teachers get to see that not only are they supporting someone in their community, but they get to see how their students rose to the challenge and used problem solving to get to the end goal. You get to see how excited the parents are, because for the first time, and this is something that kind of came after the fact and that they're doing in more case studies now, is they're finding that a lot of these kids, their cognitive abilities are developing way faster by using vehicles like this, because cognitive development for a child is all about stimuli. And if a child is just with these disabilities, those kids are just stationary. They're not moving. So they're not getting stimuli, and their cognitive development is affected by that. But if they're moving, they're getting more stimulus. They increase their cognitive development. And it's showing on studies that it's actually their tests of the kids who are using these vehicles constantly are blowing the testing scores out of the water compared to the kids who aren't moving at all with the same disabilities. So it's actually, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, but not just the project, like the way you articulate it. Like, I think you're like a leader, dude. I don't know if anybody's told you this before, but you have a great like presence. You're explaining it. It's great stuff, man. Like, man, I was just like lucky to get a job when I was your age.
I mean, I can definitely preach a lot about things I'm passionate about. Go Baby is one that I'm super passionate about. Right now, I'm the president of an organization called Central Cares. It's basically Go Baby at Central. And unfortunately, things have kind of been halted for the pandemic. So this year, we're kind of taking a little bit of a break and trying to just get inventory. But before the pandemic, we had like 9 marathon builds that we were going to do. And a marathon build is over the course of 2 days. We meet the students, we get the parameters, we build the vehicles, and we get them out to them in 2 days. And it's this whole big event at each school, tons of press, everyone loves it. It's a great time. Parents are crying, the kids are smiling. It's just a great time.
That's awesome, man. Dude, you're shot out of a cannon. This is great. Dude, we're so lucky to have you as a shop teacher. If anybody's listening to this, you gotta harness this kind of passion and talent. Can you imagine? He's going to inspire so many people. This is awesome. And his name's Brody, goddammit. So it's like,
Brody, come on. You can't. My name's Brody. It's also Broderick. I have 2 names, guys. Come on.
This is very cool. So
that's why.
Yeah, man. So
Now we need like 200 more of these guys.
I know. Oh my God.
Fill the schools up with them.
Shoot, I want 15 of these guys in my class.
Yeah, dude, we need people like this. Oh my God. I mean, so I was just gonna make a joke about there's a guy at work that falls asleep at his desk. We're like, dude, we need Brodies. We need Brodies, not sleepers, dude. This is like
just start telling, dude, you're not Brody, man. He's just be like, what are you talking about?
bro, you're so not Brody.
You're so not Brody, bro.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so I wanna let you go, talking more about it, but I want to get some time with Adrian, and you could stay, hang if you got time. I think it'll be we'll bounce around. Anybody can jump in and talk and whatnot, but we wanted to switch gears a little. Switch gears over to Adrian, get an update. I haven't seen Adrian in a while, and because of COVID, we haven't seen anybody. But yeah, so Brody, thank you so much. Please hang around.
Yeah, I will.
It's almost like a show where you have to like move down the couch or something. You're still here, but we're gonna ask Adrian some questions now. So Adrian, real quick intro. Adrian, current Tesla employee. What does that even mean? That is like, can you imagine you're working for Thomas Edison, Von Braun, and Tesla all wrapped in one person with a market cap that is exceeding other companies very quickly. Just craziness. So, and Adrian was a former student. We just basically used to build cars and whatnot. So what's up, man? How you been?
Good. It's kind of like just working for a place and expecting no sleep afterwards. That's just a normal day for us. But
They work you like whenever you hear Elon tweeting and he's like, there's a leaked email and it says, please, workers, please, we have to meet this quota. We're trying to meet this deadline. Da, da, da. Guess who's doing that? It's Adrian right here. So, thank you, because my stock price went up.
yeah.
Working his butt, but they pay you good, right? Don't they hook you up with stock options?
It's they give us a lot of stuff to keep us happy. They kind of have to because of how much they work us. But yeah, sometimes you're doing a regular 8-hour day, and then sometimes you're doing a 13-hour day because it's end of quarter, and other departments like sales and delivery, they need help, so they'll take people from service and help out because technicians just don't know how to do technician stuff. They can also help out with some other things. So it's good to have kind of multi-skilled people there, just so that way when they're in a jam and numbers need to be hit, we can at least try to hit it as best as possible. But yeah, it's a company that you're not going to get a lot of sleep in. So
wild. Do you guys hear him? Okay, is the sound okay? Okay, and Adrian's you're also doing your master's degree at the same time, right?
No, so I haven't started that yet. I finished my bachelor's my last year while also working for Tesla. I was doing full time for both, which was like not advised. It's kind of dangerous doing that. I might have fallen asleep a few times behind the wheel, but it's a lot. It's a major amount of work to do at the same time. But since then, I haven't gone back yet. I'm still on the fence of, do I just continue my career here full out, or and try to see where I can go from here, or do I kind of go back to school and kind of just grow my skill set there instead, and then kind of balance the two again.
How many years you been at Tesla now?
I have been there exactly 2 years and 8 months.
God, that went by fast.
Yeah, really fast.
Wow, I feel like you just started there, man.
It doesn't feel like I just started there, that's for sure.
Wow. Whenever I pass by, because he's at the dealership, whenever I pass by, it's like booked. The supercharger's filled, the parking lot's filled, there's people in and out of there. There is not a moment. It is just busy.
Yeah, no, it's busy the entire day. Even when I leave, sometimes the sales and delivery guys are still working for another hour or two because there's trucks still coming in with new inventory. Sometimes we'll have 3 or 4 trucks come at the same time, and they need to be lined up against the highway just because we don't have the space for it.
Wow.
So there's definitely no issue with demand there. Just from passing by the place, you can tell.
Now, what was your undergraduate degree in?
So it was mechanical engineering technology at NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. The technology part kind of confuses some people because they're like, well, what's the difference? Because they do have mechanical engineering only, and then mechanical engineering technology. They're both equivalent. They fall within the mechanical engineering, standard of the degree. It's just technology focuses a bit more on the hands-on part rather than just the theoretical, which was something that from coming from your class and your after-school activities, was something that I knew I wanted to do. They kind of just skim 1 or 2 classes back on the math. You'll do all the way to calculus 3, but they'll skip some into integral classes. What's it called? I already forgot what it's called. I didn't take it, so. But they skip out some of the math classes, skip out on some of the management oriented classes as well for that, and then replace it with just labs. So you're doing more with like fluid dynamics, thermodynamics, statics, and stuff like that. Just much more hands-on feel. And then while I did that, did Baja for 2 years.
Wait, just
That
so we're
was
clear,
the
that is similar to what Brody did, which is you guys build a vehicle from scratch, and
yeah.
it's a college level thing, and it's called uh, Formula Baja.
So
SAE.
no, so yeah, so
No,
Formula
not
is
Formula. Sorry,
the
Baja
FAA.
SAE. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Baja SAE is the other sector of just gas powered 1 person mini Baja vehicles. Um, and that's a international event for different colleges of around 100 teams competing in endurance races and just different like selected skills per test, like a suspension and handling test, acceleration test, a hill climb test, stuff like that. And then at the end of it, they'll do a 4 hour endurance race. So I did that for 2 years, and yeah, it's the same thing. We start from on a chalkboard throwing ideas around, and then we move to CAD using mostly SolidWorks.
Dude, I got you. Look at this. This is a
Oh,
throwback
okay, you
right
know
here. Look at this. Who's this guy?
that. Yeah, that was me 20 pounds lighter. Let's see. Yeah, so that was our first car. Um, yeah, that's the chassis for it right there. I think that's actually our second build chassis. So, we'll start from like I said, ideas on a chalkboard, and then we'll move on to CAD. I specifically worked on the chassis itself, on designing and doing a lot of the simulation on the like crash simulation tests and rollover tests on the chassis. And because of time and budget, because we needed a new car just about every year, and our budget was only enough for one vehicle. We had to rely a lot on the CAD stuff, so we kind of had to get it right. And then we would start fabricating as well. So we'd have a bunch of guys on the team that had special skill sets. Some were really good at welding, some were good at brake components, some were good at just marketing, stuff like that. So we had to diversify for a bit. As yeah, that's the one that was running on my Surface Pro, which I was super surprised I was able to run that file. But
Yeah, you did this in SolidWorks, right?
yeah, exactly. That's just the assemblies there. And we would use multiple actually. So we use SolidWorks. We'd use Lotus, which is a suspension modeler as well, and then we'd look at ANSYS also just for like optimizations of like certain designs, where it'll kind of look at it and say, hey, you have too much material on this part for the forces that you are asking in these certain directions. We can kind of make cutouts here and here, or thin out a wall here, and then we'll kind of take some of those advices because answers, it's not 100%. But we'll take that and then we'll kind of make little mini alterations and then run more tests on our own until we kind of found something that works. And then we start building everything ourselves. Our first year, we didn't have anything special. It was all just hand tools and like, drill press, some sanders, a nibbler, cutting wheel, stuff like that. Like really hand tools, nothing crazy. And we built our first car with that in
Tiny
that
little
little.
room. This was it, right? This little room.
Yeah, in that room. There used to be a boiler room, and the school renovated it out for us because they didn't need it anymore.
Freddy Krueger.
And
This is you and Freddy Krueger were in there.
yeah, exactly. So that was that. It was an okay car. We placed, I believe, 50th out of 100 on average between the different events that we did. They were set in different states or in the country. They change every year. But we really utilize it as like I need to acquire data from this car because we knew what was kind of coming. We knew what kind of terrain we're gonna hit, stuff like that, but we didn't have really good understanding of, really proper suspension setup and steering setup, and how to really design the car to withstand all the forces that we were gonna see because we weren't 100% sure. So we built a data acquisition system on the vehicle. So we had tachometers on the suspension. We had a gyro on it as well, yaw sensors, everything that fed into our little black box that we had an electronics team work on, with their own custom PCB and their own custom coding and everything. These guys were brilliant at this stuff. And we take the car out, we study, okay, steering under certain steering conditions, we can tell the suspension was too loose, it would the whole chassis was tilting too much, maybe we had too much twist, what kind of range of suspension travel were we seeing, when we stiffen things up, were things getting better, we're getting worse. We really went from, we have no idea how to really set up an off-road vehicle, but we have to make one. So we decided to make one that recorded data instead, rather than perform well.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, and like I said, it did mediocre. It was 50th out of 100, and we were like, we were hoping to do better.
Is that called
and
telemetry when you record?
yeah, everything. We recorded everything on that car. But it did light a fire under us where, we had the data and we were pissed because we put so much work, hours, and I commuted back and forth through bus. There were times where it would be too late in the day, the buses aren't running. Cool, I'm gonna go sleep in the meeting room that we had because we had a sofa there. I'd sleep there, wake up the next morning, go to my classes, finish my classes, go back to the Baja room, work on the car. A bunch of us did that on the team. We had to. It was so close to the wire that our brakes wasn't even fully assembled yet until we got to competition. And we finished assembling the brakes like the night before in the hotel parking lot. So it was that close. But it lit a fire under us and we said, no, screw that. We got to do better. We had to make this, something that was, worth it. And we did. We made our second iteration car. We shaved like 250 pounds off that car. We doubled the top.
A lot of weight to take off a little car like that.
Yeah, we did almost everything custom this time. Our reduction gearbox was custom. The casing was custom. I think maybe the only thing that wasn't was the CVT. That's about it. But everything else, the brake cylinders were custom machined. The rotors, even the blocks for the brake lines, absolutely everything was custom on this thing. And with that, which was a good point that Brody made before, we in the first year we didn't have access to much. We just had access to hand tools, and that was about it. And it was a struggle to just get things done on time and done well. Second year, the school had, for the most part, finished renovating the makerspace at that facility. So now all of a sudden we had, Haas machines. We had a water jet. There was a metal 3D printer that was there. There were lathes that were there. There were end mills that were there, and a slew of 3D regular plastic 3D printers for us to do even more prototyping. Just everything was there. So it made life way more easy. Especially having everything on CAD and having everything kind of already simulated and checked for tolerances and correct sizes, and then just send the files to the makerspace and have everything being cut out on the water jet, and then boom, that's it. Now we have stuff to weld. Um, so it did make life so much easier and even more enjoyable because we also got to learn how to use some of these machines rather than just sticking to the hand tools, which at first it is fun, but then after doing 50 pieces of the same piece over and over again, you're gonna lose accuracy. You're gonna lose a lot of time as well. So, and just a lot of energy from the person who's actually doing it. Um, so yeah, so having spaces like that really helped. But we did that second car. Yeah, yeah, that was our first car again. But yeah, it only went like 20 miles an hour, but it was torquey. The second car, it hit much closer to 40 miles an hour. Like I said, we were 250 pounds lighter as well. That thing flew, it jumped, it went crazy. And our first endurance race with it was in California, and we placed first place out of all 100 teams. And we spent about a half of the cost as some of the other top teams. So we really took all of our data and just ran with it.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's the car. They are.
Oh my God. Is it worse than now, or is it now worse?
I don't know.
That's funny. Cool, man. That's good.
Yeah, so that was that. And then after that, the second my last couple of years there was in Solicar instead. You can see some of
I
the
got you, bro. I
some of the
got you.
chassis designs there.
Wait a minute. I got you, bro. Hang on. I got you.
Yeah, I'll explain it as you pick something up.
Solar car, baby.
Yeah. So that one I was kind of head of everything mechanical based, chassis, brake, steering, the body itself, and also the safety aspect. Again, because this car had to be licensed, it had to be road legal. So we did have to meet certain parameters in order to make it road legal, which were a huge pain in the butt. But there we did a lot of carbon fiber manufacturing. We had to do a university innovation grant on ways to speed up the carbon fiber manufacturing process for components. Kind of doing like a parallel bagging system with the resin and the vacuum.
Let me try and find that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the chassis pieces there. But yeah, the car it's basically a full size vehicle, but it's only meant to fit one person. Just the rest of the space is just for the solar panel to sit on top of. Like we needed that surface area. But yeah, we did a lot of carbon fiber, tool laid carbon fiber with 2 layers on them. Which was
I don't
huge
have it, but I just have like the
yeah that was like the one piece that we started doing really early on there. And again, chromoly steel we were using for that. Really thin walls though for that. I think we were hopping out between like a 1/16 and some of the supports as like 1/32, something like that. And using in-hub electric motors as well for the 2 back wheels, just to save space. You're running a double wishbone suspension in the front. Just something really small, simple, cheap to make. Especially from my experience with Baja, I knew doing double wishbone in the front would just be a nice, easy way to go. The back was more of like just hecticness of just figuring out how to mount these motors properly. So we just went with a trailing arm system in the back, try to keep it as light as possible, with like thin wall steel. Just trailing arm systems, just in general, really aren't light to begin with. So we tried to figure out ways to make it light. But yeah, so you see the in-hub motors, which are actually pretty strong.
Yeah. How many watts were the motors? Like 4,000, 5,000?
I think it was actually 5,000 watts. They had different versions of it too, but it got like exponentially more expensive as it got higher. Yeah. 5,000, I think, was like the sweet spot for those wheels.
The reason you see me in some of the photos because they had a welder, but he wasn't ready yet or something, so they asked me to come around, so I did a little bit of welding.
Mhm.
But yeah, Adrian designed all this stuff, which was cool.
Yeah, helped with all the chassis. I specifically solely did the chassis while trying to teach other students, newer students in NJIT, like sophomores and freshmen. So that way, I knew that when I leave, someone else can pick up afterwards. And some of the guys there, spot welding the batteries. Those are 18650, so they're the same batteries that the Model S and the Model X use currently. That we spot welded together. Some of them in series, some of them in parallel to get the proper voltage out of the vehicle. Which back then I used to think was dangerous, but now working on actual Teslas, this is like nothing. It's like, oh, that's it. A couple hundred volts, that's nothing.
That's funny. Cool. So you really were involved in vehicle design, really from day one. Because if we throw it back, and you also did some machining even during. So I let the students come back to my shop, even if they're in college or whatever. And I know we're not supposed to do that, but it's like, you know what I mean. So he did some machining at our shop. This is our miniature mill. I recommend it's pretty much teenager proof. It's jet and it's a desktop. It's really good. So he cut some of these pieces that went, I guess, for your uprights in the front, right?
Yeah, I think that's what that was for.
I think you had a good time shredding this thing, right? Making
Yeah.
chips.
Yeah, no, I love using like some of these bigger manual tools I love using because your tolerances and your precision is all up to you. And just knowing how to use the machine and feeling the machine of when it's kind of pushing back and when it's giving you issues and when you're kind of stressing it out and stuff like that, just feeling all of that happen,
Feel it.
it's really cool. It's
It's like
not,
no 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 no
yeah,
no 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 no.
yeah, just and like focusing in on what exactly you're cutting and seeing how it cuts it. It's a cool experience to go through, and you're like, wow, this is how things are made.
Totally. Should we throw it back all the way to high school? Because let's
Yeah,
see, I got that. Hold on, let's see. Share this one.
yeah,
Now
that's
check.
loaded.
Oh my God! Look at this kid. Who's this guy? Jesus, this is early on. Oh wait, it's for some reason not sharing.
You'll have to
Yeah, I
reshare.
don't know why that happened. All right. This is early 2012, maybe.
I think so. Maybe like 2011, something like that.
Oh my God! Look at.
Yeah.
Oh
As you can see, precision was my thing. I wanted everything to be precise.
yeah, you back then you were very serious about worrying about the thing.
Yeah.
That is cool. Yeah, I remember this was like I remember saying to myself like, all right, because I didn't have time to like make sure everything was done right. We were building this like Lotus 7 thing, and I was like, okay, look, Adrian, just don't go here, don't go there. Just whatever you do here is up to you. And he totally took it and ran with it, which was totally cool. He did really good. And yeah, that's basically all the photos I got. There's Damien. Remember, Damien was on the podcast. I know it's hard to see him there, but that's him. This is you cleaning the transmission with gasoline, which is always a healthy choice.
No, I was doing it with I think it was like paint remover or something like
Oh,
that.
really? Okay.
It was effective. That stuff worked really good. You just didn't have
Oh,
to
that's
breathe
so
it in.
funny. I wonder. Oh, maybe mineral spirits or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I
And
think it was that mineral. Yeah.
oh, okay. We brought it to the Javits Center, and we brought this car. It wasn't done, but it did. It was assembled.
It rolled.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, it rolled. Yeah, we just needed drive shaft and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I kind of just kept that. Yeah, I kind of just kept that going because even the Baja and the Solar car, we made it into the Javits Center also for the car show.
Dude, you've been rolling. You've been making vehicles and doing stuff since high school. You haven't stopped, man. It's great.
Yeah, no, I think right now, this is the past couple of years I've been working for Tesla is the only time it's stopped, and I kind of hate it. Like I want to get my hands back onto something that's mine, that I can call mine at least.
Fabrication. Because you mostly,
Yeah.
what do you do now? You do diagnosis.
At the moment, yeah, it's heavily on the diagnosis side, but I still do a lot of the smaller repairs because, like I said, when help is needed, help is needed. It kind of doesn't matter how skilled you are. You 1 minute you can do really complicated CAN network diag, and then another minute you're just doing a tire.
So what is the high level stuff? From what I understand, you'll know what's wrong with the car before it even shows up, right?
Yeah, sometimes. I would say a good majority of the times we do. I think even Elon one time said that in a tweet once of saying, "Hey, we want service to the point where we'll tell you when something's wrong with the car before you even notice." And we're getting a lot closer to that. But it's just a lot of kind of bottlenecks of just how many service centers do we have and stuff like that that we're gonna have to get situated, which are getting situated. It just takes time. But yeah, there's the great thing about these actual computers on wheels is that they are a computer, and they have a LTE and Wi-Fi, and they communicate over networks, and so we can look at what the vehicle is doing signal wise and system wise, like processes, and figure out, all right, what's causing this issue to happen.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You got a bunch of shop teachers in the room. You got one who's about to be the leader of all the shop teachers. I can tell already. We got to, Matt, this guy, look out, Brody. Oh my God. This guy's like, we better hurry up and retire because this kid, like, that's it. And we got to be nice to him for now, I guess. So if you were to, Adrian, if you were to give shop teachers advice, if they're in the automotive area, clearly we're going electric. But what else would you say is missing from the auto shop? Would it be like you got to learn CAD bus? What is it about the Tesla that you would advise? Like, what do you think we should be teaching the high school kids coming up? Is it robotics? Is it programming? What is it?
Oh man, that's a good question. It's a little bit of everything. I would say maybe less so on the robotic side of things for that specific area, but then you have a lot of pros of teaching robotics for other areas like manufacturing. If we're talking about automotive manufacturing, then okay, yeah, you need to lean in more heavily on the robotic side of things, especially because that's the most, at least in my opinion, the most complicated thing to get done correctly and sustainably is the robotics of not just the mechanical side, but also the coding side of things as well. But yeah, I would say a lot of, especially now because of the whole electric car is a thing, high voltage, it's dangerous, but if people are aware of it and how it works and just basic fundamentals of how electricity works, not necessarily high voltage, because high voltage and low voltage, they operate the same. It's just one can, kill you and one's just gonna shock you. So teaching like the fundamentals of just how that concept works. If I put my hand on one node and another on another, I'm making myself the circuit. That's a no-no. Things like that. Just so that way it's less.
Don't be in the way.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's just a way of I think getting that fear out of people. I've seen that a lot, even in solar car. When the battery team would work on the batteries themselves and start building them and putting them together, or even just having them around, we'd have signs everywhere saying, high voltage, stay away, blah, blah. A lot of people would just be scared to just walk in that direction. They didn't know what's going to happen. If people learn about materials and how they are conductive or not conductive, and human bodies and how they react to it as well, and just how the electricity works, it eliminates a lot of that fear. So then students might be able to kind of dive in and accept being taught something within that area, because they don't have to climb over that fear of it.
Great thing to point out. You got a second thing. Good. But let me ask you this real quick. What is the voltage in a Tesla? Is it 400?
It varies, but yeah, it's around that. Yeah.
Okay. Go. What's the other thing?
The other thing would just be how data communicates through different devices. That's kind of like I send something in this module and magic happens and then something else happens. All right, understanding maybe like logic gates and how transistors and resistors work in tandem or diodes and stuff like that. Uh, how they kind of take in information, figure it out, and then spit information back out. I think would be a good way of also breaking a really, really big barrier that people have a hard time breaking, even now as adults. You know, but yeah, definitely
That's good.
communication.
That's cool. Nice. Anybody got any questions for Adrian? That's a big journey you've been on, dude.
Yeah, I got one. All right. Cybertruck, diesel,
Okay.
or continue to fix up my shitty Ford Ranger.
Hey,
Oh
I have
man.
a Ranger too. My Ranger's definitely more shitty than yours.
Oh, that's hard.
Dude, my floorboards are
Well,
starting to go.
yeah. um. Well, it depends
Oh, come
how
on,
much fun you want to
Cybertruck,
have.
dude. Just rip it off. It's
I
Cybertruck.
mean, I have mine pre-ordered, so I guess so.
There's your answer.
But I know most people are not going to want to work on theirs. So if you want some fun, I would say keep that little Ranger, but also get a Cybertruck.
That's funny. You know, that is funny. Yeah. So basically, and also to one more piece of the puzzle that I thought was kind of a fun thing, little fun story about Adrian. I'm going to embarrass him now. Is back in the day, we actually got invited to like the class got invited to the Edison Museum in what is it, West Orange or something. And we went there, and his dad was there, and his dad is so funny. His dad would say to me, okay, let's get serious. Stop playing around. He'd say, what's the situation? How do we put Adrian on a path towards, becoming like some crazy engineer so that one day I can retire? That's what he would say. So, and we actually laid out a plan. Like his dad was cool. I remember, because you got to understand, not a lot of parents come in and say that. Like you got to understand, that was not a normal situation. I've only had 3 parents do that in 16 years. So Adrian's dad came in and he made a specific appointment, and he said, I want to talk to you. If Adrian wants to do this, what should he do? And I was like, all right, look, this is what I would do first, second, third, and I kind of laid it out. I don't know. I don't even remember what I said at the time, but it gave them a guideline, and then Adrian took it from there. But it's a very cool thing that his dad actually came in and they were very serious about the path, which was very cool. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I still have the paper somewhere
Oh
actually
no,
that we
awesome.
drew on.
That's awesome. So that's like an important thing. Parents, if a parent's listening to this, like go in and talk to the teacher and be like, hey, what are we doing here? Like, what's the plan? And then also what it does for you is realize that Adrian's serious, his family's serious about it. I'm going to take his career as serious as possible. And the thing is that there's so many kids in the class. Of course, I'm going to give an extra focus to Adrian because they said they're going to do it. He's not just passing through. This is a step on the way, So that was actually pretty cool. Cool little fun fact on the side there.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point that you make, specifically for like the relationship between teachers, students, and their parents. Different communities operate differently, but I know like the one where I'm from in West New York, the majority of the students there and the families that live there, they don't come from wealthy families or anything like that. A lot of them are living paycheck to paycheck, multiple, parents working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. And a lot of them, come from different countries, and they don't realize a lot of the opportunities that some of these skills can even bring forward. So a lot of times, you'll have students kind of, dive into some of these new skills of, workshop or machining or welding, stuff like that. And they may see the potential in what that can grow into in the future. But a lot of times the parents won't, just because they don't know. They haven't had the experience or the visibility of that because they've probably just never seen it before, or they've never seen it grow into something from someone. So I think a good relationship between the teacher and the parents too, of just informing them of like, hey, these are a lot of the potentials that come from this. People who go into the certain industries require some of these skills that we're trying to teach in certain workshops, and stuff like that can at least kind of give parents the ability to say, oh, maybe I should help my child invest into this, and not think like, oh, it's just a phase, something small that they kind of like or get into, and they're not going to really use it, because a lot of people expect that success to be working at a cubicle, and it definitely isn't, by a long shot. So
Right.
kind of just getting parents into that same page of, hey, this can also grow into something successful as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, this is for Duke right here. This is for Duke right here. Stop dissing the Rangers, bro. This is my Ranger. It still has a like I bought it like this with a busted bumper and a all screwed up hood, and yeah, I do all the work on it. Let's see. Here it is. This is what you got to do. Take the bed off. Or actually, the bed looks really good. I've beaten it up since then. Well, not all the work. Oh, I didn't see that. But yeah, so like, and it's great. So don't diss the Ranger, bro. Come on. Did you have to do these? Did you do these yet? The shackle?
No, I don't have a Ranger. I just said it for your. I just said it for you. Listen,
I'm an idiot. That went over my head.
So Sparks, who was on here a couple weeks ago with the Terrazzo Floors, he had a Ranger, right?
Oh.
Commuting, he ran into some guy's porch, messed it all up. The doors wouldn't close. He put a ratchet strap, both doors, over the roof, and ratchet strap the doors shut.
Oh my god! All right, then it's time. Then it's time for the junker. That's it. Oh my god, dude, that's really
told him
fun.
to get rid of it too because he had an extra engine in storage.
Oh my god, that's so funny. This is what happened with this one. You know what happened was let me show you something here. This is like the craziest thing. Okay. You see this here? It detached itself. You don't see it. Hold on. We gotta show this for a second. This is ridiculous. It detached itself from the shackle, you see, and then it slammed into this is stupid. I don't even know why I'm showing this. Anyway, so basically, yeah, the thing it needs work. All right, so basically to bring it all back to home here, we got Adrian kicking butt out there. Very cool. And we got Brody coming in to kick some major butt in the shop teacher world. He's going to be like an earthquake, dude. He's going to shake things up. Awesome, and all these old farts. We're gonna watch you. We're gonna watch what you guys, what the young kids are doing. We're gonna pave a path for you guys. Come on in. We need you. That's basically
It's like MySpace watching TikTok.
Or Blockbuster. We're all analog over here. Jesus, oh my God, Hollywood Video and
yeah, VHS moving over to Netflix now, right?
Yeah, oh my God, that's awesome. Bro, you got any questions for Adrian about all this stuff, or I don't know, you could jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily have any questions per se, but I was just kind of like just jaw drop most of that time because it's just super cool. At my school, we unfortunately I'm not in the club, but we have a couple different things that we do. We have a super mileage team that unfortunately I didn't get a chance to be a part of, and then they do human powered vehicles club. So at one point in time, Central built a bicycle that went, I think it was like 68, 70 miles an hour. and it was just powered by someone pedaling it. I think the current world record is like 89 miles an hour. And it's literally just this pod that this aerodynamic pod with a little camera on top. And you're sitting in this dark pod and you're just pedaling. And just because of the gear ratio, the aerodynamics of the vehicle, these things just absolutely fly. But yeah, no, I think what you're doing, Adrian, is really, really cool. Working for Tesla, that's got to be a blast. It's got to be super cool to be on one of those. I mean, you're at the point now with Tesla, with how big Tesla's grown over the past year. I've been following Tesla since I heard the name. Like, obviously, you guys have been rocking and rolling for a while now, but I didn't really start hearing about them until like 5 years ago. And since then, just hearing the progress that the company has made is tremendous, because like all us tech ed guys, we're all like super big fans of Tesla, and we're waiting for it to take off, and then 2020 hit, and then it just soared, and it just kept going. So I think all of us are really excited. I'm excited to see what Tesla's doing. I also love the other things that Elon's up to. SpaceX. Really excited about the stuff he's doing over at SpaceX. Do you guys get like briefings on like what's going on with some of his other companies because you work at Tesla, or is that kind of up to you guys to figure out on your own?
Ooh, that was a good question.
Yeah, so it's really weird because I actually thought when I started working, I actually thought I was gonna be able to know things way in advance. And we actually don't. We know things sometimes after the customers, actually. like things will pop up on forums and we'll be like, wait, that just happened? That was a thing? Like, did we miss the update? Like, what's going on? But sometimes we'll get kind of up to speed a little before on some of like system changes within the car. But a lot of that isn't customer facing anyways. Like only we know about it, and it kind of just helps us do some of the diagnostics on the vehicles.
Right.
But then as far as the other companies go, now we are completely shut out from that. We can't even talk to the people within those companies, like our Teams network that we use.
Yeah.
It's just Tesla and Tesla only, and even then, you only talk to certain people, and that's really it. But it's not as open as I would have imagined, or as much as I would have liked. But yeah, no, it's still really exciting to work for them. The lack of sleep kind of just, you don't even think about it at some points because you're so busy just getting stuff done that you don't even realize it, and then you get home and you're like, wow, that was a long ass day. I didn't even realize.
Awesome.
But it's really cool to we also get to see a lot of like the the new things from new inventory coming through the shop as well. Right before the customers even get their hands on it, we get to see it and play around with it and say like, oh, what's new with this, and what's like the best way to use it, and then take that and then be able to inform customers on how to use their vehicle more efficiently or just optimally. Yeah, that's about it.
I just want to show you guys something, get your opinions. Everyone here, but we got 2 electric car people in the house here, so might as well take a look. So we got this crazy company. I've talked about this before, but this is an electric vehicle. Is it?
Oh,
sharing? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So this is called an Arcimoto. It's a 3-wheeled electric vehicle, and they just bought a tilting motorcycle company. So they're going to be able to tilt as well and swim through, and it's like a safer version of a motorcycle.
Crazy.
Yeah. And at first I was like, this is kind of weird or whatever, and then let me see. Oh, I see. So it drops it when it goes back that way. Let me just share this one more time. So now check this craziness out. Just today, it went up 20%.
Hell yeah, because whenever you posted about that stock, I went and bought some, Ron.
Yes!
So
yes!
I haven't checked.
Right.
I haven't checked it in a little bit. So heck yeah, man.
Yes! All right. Yeah, like, dude, but look at this. You got to understand. Just look at a month. It was 13 a month ago. I mean, that's a crazy ride.
When did you post about that? That was like last year when you posted about that. It's been a while ago since I bought this.
You bought it last year?
You did like an Instagram story post or
oh my god,
something.
You bought it last year? Dude, you're here then. You're here. You're like
I'll have to look. While
you're at the $2 level or something. This is a year ago. A year ago is $1.80. $1.80. And they've got capital raises and stuff. It's wild. And they bought this tilting motorcycle company. So it's interesting. Hold on, let's see. Here it is. Tilting motorcycles. But it's just like amazing because it's like here's this electric car thing, and Polaris is not raising money like this. Neither is Harley Davidson, and so it's like, whoa, what are these people doing, right? And here it is. That's the founder. That's it right there. Look at that thing. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. There's no gearbox. It has 2 front electric motors, so you don't need a differential. There's a lot of interesting things to it. I think it's going to be good for the dealership. Delivery space. Oh, here it is. Tilting Motorcycle Works.
Yeah, my total gain so far with them is almost 120%.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's huge. Yeah. So anyway, what do you guys think of this crazy thing?
Yeah, I like it. It looks like a vehicle that you can picture like 20 years into the future as being the everyday little driver that you see in places like in China or in India as taxi services. Yeah. It's like the replacement for that, like the 21st century replacement.
Yeah. I can see that. And then like they're trying to sell it to like delivery and then also for last mile delivery. So like and then also for holiday stuff and whatnot. They actually do have what they call the Roadster, which is no top. Yeah, which is ridiculous. And
dude, I can see that being like in the cities, the cops.
Crazy, Brody. What do you think, man?
In and out.
Is it weird?
I mean,
he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it.
I'm torn because I think it's really cool, but I wouldn't buy one. So,
see, and I bought the stock because I was like, oh, dude, that'd be so much fun to ride around on, like as a toy.
Right. I agree with it. I think Adrian has a really good point that I definitely see that as being like the 21st century alternative to taxi services because it looks exactly like that. Like it's like you could fit a couple passengers. It's obviously it's electric. It's small. It can go in tight places. But I wouldn't buy one personally. I wouldn't buy one. Not yet, at least.
Brody's like, dude, this thing's terrible.
I can see that down in like the resort areas, like as your little zoom around, like replace the golf cart idea.
Yeah, and then
maybe I don't know. It's doing good now for stock, so it's the greatest thing in the world. Everyone should go buy 10 of them.
It's crazy how well that stock is doing. It is crazy. Yeah. So then what they did was they bought Tilting Motor Works. Let me just see here. You got to see this thing. It's actually legit. Hold on. Motorworks. Hold on. Oh,
you got tiling in there.
Oh my, I'm horrible. Okay, Oh, here we go. There we go. So they just bought this company for $10 million. So now Arcimoto owns two companies. It's Arcimoto and this. And I thought this was silly at first, but take a look. What this does, can you guys see this?
Yeah.
What this does, let me point out, because when I saw the news, I was like, this is so stupid. I was like, who would ever drive this? But here's the thing. what this does is it allows there you go. What it allows, let's say you're going around a corner, right? And you come across a little bit of gravel or a little bit of oil or a little bit of something slippery, and you slide out your front tire, which I've done. You're not going to end up on the ground, you see? Whereas this, it'll stay. So you could slip a little bit and you're still going to make that corner. And the guy actually said you could go harder because of that. So yes, the bike is heavier. And yes, if you got dry track conditions and you're not worried about gravel or potholes or anything like that, you need a two-wheeled bike, 100%, right? But if you have gravel, you're going to want one of these. And the owner has the land speed record for the fastest three-wheeled vehicle at like 135 miles an hour. Yeah. So it's legit. It's not gimmicky. I thought it was like goofy, but it's not. It's based on solid engineering. And look, they built it themselves. Hold on, let me show you. This was the prototype with Legos. Look at this. Yeah. And then they built a prototype coming up, and they got SolidWorks in the background there. There you go. There's their prototype. And then it's got a thing where it writes itself when you slow down. And they hired a machinist, his buddy, got in the shop. Coming up in the video. One sec. Yeah, there you go. Bridgeport. Right? Boom. Cutting the prototype themselves. And so they actually have a dealer network. Here's the other thing that gets crazy. This is the thing I was like, whoa, check out this. Purchase. Find a dealer. Now, so this is where it gets interesting. They already have certified installers. So you buy the Honda, you buy the Gullwing, you buy the Harley, you buy the whatever, and then you go get it installed by one of these guys. You see their network? So they have a network. So then when Arcimoto bought this, they get the intellectual property and the network, and they can tilt. So it's like, whoa. So it's kind of interesting of a move. And they're all over, you know? So anyway, my 2 cents about it.
Are they just doing the front wheel assembly?
No welding, literally, so you don't void the warranty and there's no DOT issues. Unbolt your front suspension, bolt this on. That's it.
Yeah, because there was a Harley bagger on there.
Yeah, they're not messing around. Like, there's no welding to your chassis. You're not going to void the warranty. You're going to be insured. Like, it's a no-nonsense kit. Although, when you first see it, you're like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It looks like a mistake, you know? You know what I mean? But they've done their homework. Like, this is a company that's, like, not joking around. So they got Harley, Indian, and Honda. Here's your Harley kit.
I have a feeling this is more of like they just bought it, so we might see what they're gonna do with it in about a year or two or something like that in terms of timeline. But this might be something where they can take this and integrate it into their existing Arcimoto vehicles as more of like a safety / ergonomics for maybe an industrial type of vehicle, like a new different model meant for just industrial work that might implement this instead.
Yeah, that would be interesting. What's the advantage of tilting? I guess it just feels better. But also when you come to a stop, it goes and it'll like level you out. So I mean, it's interesting. It's going to be a while till they roll it out for sure, and they're going to continue to sell the kits. Look at that looks weird. You know what I mean? Like you don't want that. You want the two-wheel thing. You know, I get it. But it's Brody's like, dude, you killed me.
I think you brought up a good point.
Will this help keep like the older generation on the bike longer though? I don't ride motorcycles, but I feel like
Totally. That's the
you know,
You don't
I've
want to
seen
crash it. Yeah.
like, you know, getting into, you know, your 50s and upper 50s and 60s, but you still want to keep riding, and maybe your body just can't handle the weight of you know, like a Harley and stuff.
It's probably like the step before you go to the 3-wheeler with 2 wheels on back.
Yeah, the trike or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know people that have those, and of course they're older, and that's why they went to it. And
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true. Like, yeah, that's why Brody over here. He's like a young buck. He's like, what is this?
Nah, he's looking at like the electric bike, the live wire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Brody knows no girl's going to climb on the back seat of that with him.
Yeah. He's thinking, can I take a girl home?
Unless her name's like Mom.
Yeah, I'm looking into getting my motorcycle license this winter. Because I have an opportunity this summer. Heading out to Ohio to go do timber framing, which I'm super amped about. So I'm going to be building timber frame post and beam houses all summer. And I figured what better time to get my motorcycle license than when I'm going out to Ohio for 3 months to have no obligations other than build houses and rent motorcycles and just hang out in Ohio. So.
Nice. Dude, do the class. I did this. They got a safety class. It's like a 3-day weekend. It's worth it, man. You can see the road better. Great.
I've got a code for
dude. He'll have to go up to
like a free. I won it with a $250 Harley card and Harley card. Yeah.
Wait,
a gift card to Harley.
What'd you say? You what? What'd you do?
Oh, so I won from Instagram a $250 gift card to Harley, and with it came a safety course for Harley.
Do it.
Yeah. I've already got my license, so I don't need it.
I mean, if you want to work that out with me, I'm 100% down, man. That sounds awesome. That sounds incredible.
Contact me. Yeah, I don't need it. I'm going to get rid of it.
Class.
So I wait all night.
Young guy connecting. That was the goal.
So
how can I get in contact with you? What's the best way?
You can email me.
Okay.
In the chat.
Okay. Awesome.
Drop it in the chat there. And by the way, before we go, wait, Brody, do we got you on the email list? We have a newsletter we put out.
Yeah, he's on it.
I'm on it. Yeah.
Brody, did that email come through before I forwarded it to you? It was in like your promotions email box or junk mail, maybe.
I don't think so. Because I couldn't find it until you forwarded it to me. Okay. So yeah, we'll just have to look into that. Something else I think you guys will appreciate. Right now, obviously this is for my company, but right now we're working on building a laser engraver.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's it's obviously as you guys know, laser engravers cost an arm and a leg. So so I contacted Central to give me a grant, and they gave me a student research grant, which bought like half the materials, and then the other half I just forwarded, the cash. But instead, so for like $2,500, I'll have like a laser engraver that can engrave like up like 4 feet by like 2 feet roughly. Whereas like
nice.
To get that same laser engraver is like over $25,000 for like the same engraving area. So that's a fun little project that we're working on right now that we're hoping to get up and running. It's very close. My friend have a timeline. We're hoping March 1st that it's operational because we have content we're trying to get out on Musco. We're trying to start getting into local businesses and start. Obviously, things are might be a little slower now with the pandemic. People aren't going to shops as much, but we want to start going to local breweries and whatnot, and trying to get them to start doing local. So start getting whether if they're doing coasters, glassware, stuff like that, buying local, buying USA made, stuff that is going to actually impact the community instead of just buying cheap shit that goes overseas. So that is a big thing. That's our whole thing is no matter what we're going into. We're trying to keep everything locally made, U.S. made, made with fair materials. We're trying to just keep the money here instead of just the constant stream of just like, oh, it's cheaper, let's just send it overseas. It's cheaper, let's just go elsewhere. Trying to bring back the charm and going local again.
Nice.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, I think people should
Very
give it
cool.
a try. With
Hey, Ron.
yeah.
I was gonna say, if he's gonna be in Ohio, was it Cleveland or Cincinnati? Where was what's his name? They have the garage shop,
dude,
the motorcycle place.
Cleveland, you got
He
to
needs to go check that place out if he's on a bike.
Moto Garage is it's like basically like a warehouse where you hang out and fix motorcycles. Maybe you could just build a bike for yourself, dude. It would be so cool. Yeah,
What's it called?
Moto Cleveland. No, hold on. Let me see. Do you have it, Matt?
I'll look. Because he's been posting new stuff. They're starting new stuff. He's been posting on Instagram.
First of all,
Is it Cleveland Moto?
let me see. Hold on.
Cleveland Moto.
I'm gonna check. Hold on.
Moto Go Cleveland.
Moto Go. Yeah.
See that's the class part. But what was his the shop the shop though? What was the shop called though?
It's called.
Oh, it was not Knucklehead.
Oh yeah.
Something garage.
Moto Cleveland. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, Moto Cleveland. Oh, Moto Go.
Oh my gosh.
Bring back shop class. He was doing all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, Moto Go was the shop class he had brought back for the kids.
Yeah. Here we go.
With those Hondas or whatever.
Yeah, here you go. Did you find this yet, Brody?
Yeah, I found the Moto Go.
Okay, it's the same dude.
Okay. See, I'm scrolling through to see if I can find the other thing you were talking about.
Yeah, let's see. Here it is.
It's oh my gosh, what was it? Shop.
Yeah, I forget. Anyway, you know what we can do?
Skidmark Garage.
That's it. Skidmark.
Right?
Oh wait, no. Skidmark's one of his suppliers in the locally area. Yeah, but that's not.
No, it's Skidmark Garage. Right there it is. Yep. Look up Skidmark Garage. Yep.
Okay. Hold on.
That's his it's like a maker space for motorcycle people.
Oh, nice.
And he's cool.
Oh yeah, he was awesome. He was a good one.
Yeah, he was it was a lot of fun. That was a good session. Okay, here it is. Welcome to Skidmark Garage.
Nice.
Yeah. And they got like a whole thing. It's so crazy. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
Okay.
He had like a lounge and a bar and it was like the ultimate man cave.
Yeah,
for everyone.
God. Like, dude. Just imagine, like, Lowbrow Customs is his supplier. That's it. And it's in a warehouse and stuff. It's just crazy. Yeah, but it's super cool. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there you go. This would be the good representation. There you go. That's it. See, it's like a whole warehouse filled with
motorcycles. That's sweet. Yeah.
And you can rent a bay. There's the dude. What's his name again? I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Oh jeez. I got the worst.
Feel bad now. He was probably he was an awesome guest though.
Yeah, one of the best. You can hang, you rock out a band. That's awesome. That's basically awesome.
That's wicked cool.
So all right, well, let's wrap up the recording right here. We probably should have, it's cool to hang, but we got to stop the recording. So Shop Class Podcast, we got Brody plowing the old guys out. We got Adrian with his kid. He's going to be working on freaking SpaceX rocket ships. When you blink your eyes, he'll be hanging out with Elon next month. And we got all the regular shop guys. So thanks for tuning in. And we got a lot of guests coming up next week. Who do we got? Let's see.
Is it one of Tim's former students?
Tim's got an alumni. Yeah, Tim's got an alumni next week. Then after that, the 17th is. Yeah,
I thought you had one.
I think so.
We just made the schedule, but I closed it down.
That's okay.
I'll put it in the newsletter for everyone.
Oh yeah, Xavier. It's one of my alumni. Do you remember Xavier, Adrian? Xavier.
I think so. It rings a bell.
He does security systems now. He went to NJIT. And then after that, then we got on the 24th, we got social media 2.0, which is going to be like, we're going to have Char and we're going to have Barbercheck talk about the next level of social media for teachers. And then after that, on the 3rd, we got Yaset Evo. You know Yaset, right, Adrian? Yeah. And he's Con Ed, basically power systems. Like when a transformer in New York City blows up, like the one in Queens. Yeah, like the one that looked like an alien hit, you know? You know, this is when a transformer blows up. So then they bring it to his office, and then they take it apart and find out why it broke, and then they make recommendations to the supplier. So very cool guests coming up. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, just email us, and we'll put you in the schedule. All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll hit stop the recording now. Oh.